Define success for yourself. Define success for yourself. Now check this out. Maybe it's a healthy family. Maybe it's a happy marriage. Maybe it's to help others, to be famous, to be spiritually sound, to leave the world a little bit better place than you found it. Continue to ask yourself that question. Now your answer may change over time, and that's fine. But do yourself this favor. Whatever your answer is, don't choose anything that will jeopardize your soul. Prioritize who you are, who you want to be, and don't spend time with anything that antagonizes your character.
What's up, guys? This morning, I'm gonna take you through a day in the life of a bodybuilder, my morning routine. Today, as you guys can see already, woke up, took my CPAP off, put on some clothes, made some espresso, and went and smoked my joint. That's my morning routine. I do that every day. That's kind of my peace and to get my head right. And then we're gonna get things ready to go here. We're gonna head over to Revive. I'm gonna kill some abs, do a little bit more posing. And then I also have to take check-ins for my coach today. So we're gonna show you guys my check-in setup here at the house. We'll actually probably take pictures before we go to the gym just so I can get his response, and we'll be able to tell you guys the response when we're at the gym posing, especially if I need to make any posing tweaks or anything like that. Super exciting kind of to show you guys a little bit more in depth what I do every day. This is what you guys have been asking for, so that's what we're bringing to you. Like I said, the coffee, the joint, still sipping on this coffee. The next thing is my digestive enzymes here in the morning. So I take a handful of pills here. I have a liver, a kidney, this is a thyroid support pill, apple cider vinegar, Pepsin GI, and a digestive enzyme of Ravenous. So this will just make sure my stomach gets going, just like the coffee does. Get that little morning bathroom routine going. Go to the bathroom, and then we'll be ready to take pictures for coach. So this is kind of how things roll every day. Get these vitamins in. Then we'll eat meal one and take another handful of vitamins like that too, but we'll show you guys that as well. So just get things rolling here. I'm still waking up, so I ain't got a whole lot to say to you yet. I like to sit down and watch my cartoons and hang out a little bit, and then the brain will finally be working. All right, guys, so yesterday on Instagram, we had you guys ask some questions about what you wanted to know. So this morning, as we go through this morning routine, we're definitely gonna be answering a few of those that were the good ones. We got like 5 or 6 picked out, and then we'll go into depth about them in time. So we got the ring light here. Then I got my black backdrop. This thing, geez, you can just order it on Amazon, but it just folds up. And this is perfect because like I can make my check-ins look the same no matter where I'm at. So if we're traveling on the road, I can still put this in the suitcase, still take pictures, and it be exactly the same for coach as well as the lighting. So I'll be able to I'll show you guys how I manipulate the lighting, how I set my tripod up, and how I take pictures, and we'll get some pictures for Boss of Outlaw. We need to check the weight, get that for coach. So we'll do that real quick, give you guys a little weigh in here. So probably 254-ish, somewhere in there. It's been about what I'm waking up at. So I think it'll be similar to the same, maybe up a little bit because we did legs yesterday. So it might have some inflammation. A little bit. So yesterday I was like 254.2. Today I'm 254.8. And honestly, that's like, I still haven't gone to the bathroom fully yet. I don't think stomach hasn't completely cleared, but that's real close. And like I said, I'm definitely a little inflamed from legs. My legs are super sore today. So had an awesome session yesterday. We're gonna let it fade into today and bring some motivation today when we're tired and dragging butt a little bit. So I'm gonna throw my trunks on, then we're gonna get the lighting set up, and we're gonna take some check-ins. We'll turn this light on. We will turn all the rest of the lights in the house off. So the kitchen light, which affects us, bathroom light maybe that affects us, and then this light is super yellow. Turn that one off too. This is how I have things set up. So I have my tripod probably roughly about 6 feet away from my backdrop. I have a mirror about 7 or 8 feet away from my backdrop. And right now, me being this far out, posing, and my mind to muscle connection's not as crazy as it is when I'm peeled. I want to be able to look at my poses and kind of perfect things. And as we're seeing what grew in this short period of time in this rebound, we just kind of have to manipulate and change poses a little bit. So one of my feedbacks from New York was that they wanted to see a different side try, and they want to see my front lat spread be more open. So those are two things that I'm really working on here, but we'll get a video going. I'm guest posing in about a week and a half's time here, coming up in Denver. So we're gonna let you guys see the full check-in here, see what I look like. Right now, on today, we are roughly about 9.5 weeks out from the Olympia. That gives you a rough estimate of where we'll be, and then the guest posing will be around 8 weeks out from the Olympia. Really happy with where the body is right now, really happy with the body weight. I don't quite remember what I was from before Detroit or New York at 8 weeks out. Definitely am 5 pounds-ish bigger and in the same condition, in my opinion. So very excited to see what comes out of this. So let's take some pictures. Jake made a good point. When I took my weight, I had the mic on, and then I just took a pee. Between the pee and the mic coming off, I weighed myself again, and I'm actually, a new low yesterday was 254.2. Today is 254.0. So we're actually moving down a little bit, trending in the same position, and really happy with this look. So let's get some pictures. Shoot this over to coach, and usually he's back to me within 10 minutes. So we'll have our feedback, and then we'll kind of know what to do for the day, whether we're gonna have food drop, change that, whatever, and then we'll head to go do some abs. I've really only worked with 3 people as coaches in my life: Nelson Jones, Branch Warren, I coach myself, and now Stefan. Both Nelson, Branch, and Stefan have all been a blessing to me, and all been very, very responsive as coaches. So that's something I take very seriously and want my people to be, is on top of it. They want me to win as bad as I want to win. So having Coach Boss of Outlaw right now, Stefan, the way he is, he's back to me within 5 to 10 minutes. We have a certain plan. We talk almost every single day, even if I'm not checking in. We just have an awesome relationship. He's built my mind so much this last year to believe in myself. The confidence I have in myself and what we're gonna do together is unmatched. So not only is Stefan that high-level coach that knows bodybuilding, can get you in shape, can peak you better than anyone, but also he's been so good for my mental health. He's been so good as a role model, as a man. Truly, truly love Stefan, so very thankful for him, and can't wait to see what the future holds for us. We get in here and we'll get straight to work. We got 2 ab machines right here as you walk into the gym. We're at Revive, which is kind of home base for us, as well as Raw Athletic Club, but it's a little bit further away. So this one's only about 10 minutes from the house. perfect. Come in here, we'll crush some abs, and we'll do a little bit of stretching, especially because my hamstrings are super tight from yesterday's training session. We might do a little bit of posing in here as well, depending on what coach has said. So coach got back to me within 3 minutes from when I sent the check-in. He said he's very happy with the look, and then he said he would send some changes over. So we'll see what those changes are. It might be nothing more than just he wants me to rest today because I have a slight bit of inflammation, but otherwise very, very happy with how things look, and we're just treading in the right direction. So excited to see what this final package is gonna be. So first things first, I'm gonna use this Prime Crunch machine. This one is just like all the other Primes. You can change the caber of where the resistance is most in the actual exercise. I'm gonna have this thing let off at the end when it's a little bit harder to crunch more deeply, and be kind of really hard in the big stretch here in the initial crunch. And this machine is very, very hard. It's honestly kind of hard to get set up in on finding the right seat height and things. Once you do, this thing absolutely locks you in and you can crush abs. So we'll start here, then we'll move to a cable crunch machine, and then we'll do some leg lifts to finish off abs, and then we'll go to stretching. Like I told y'all, we're gonna be answering some questions. So Jake hit me with, what's the best split for a natty? Honestly, guys, as far as I'm concerned, I don't think you should train differently whether you're enhanced or natural. The only thing that's probably gonna change is possibly the frequency. You might need a little bit more rest as a natural person. Guys, what steroids do is make your recovery much, much faster, making you have the ability to train the muscle more frequently and harder, right? So those are the only two factors that really change. As a natural bodybuilder, I don't think that the split is necessarily needs to change much from that of an enhanced bodybuilder, but maybe the set volume and the amount of reps that you're doing might need to be pulled back slightly, as well as maybe instead of 1 rest day, you might need 2 rest days in a row. Outside of that, bodybuilding is still bodybuilding. To tear down the muscle, it works the same way, both on steroids or off steroids. The main factor is the recovery aspect, like I said before. So you just have to be able to recover as a natural. Want to be a pro bodybuilder? What's my advice to you? I'd say this, man. Find a good circle, find a good coach, and stick to the plan. You got to be patient. Bodybuilding is a marathon, not a sprint. You can't do this overnight, and just because one show goes bad doesn't mean you need to jump ship and completely throw the plan out the window that you were doing. It just needs more time, likely. One of the things that I really had to learn over the past couple years is to be patient with this. I wanted to be Mr. Olympia tomorrow. No one is Mr. Olympia at 25 years old. You have to build that physique that's worthy of becoming a pro or worthy of becoming Mr. Olympia, and that takes time. So be patient, have a good circle, and have a good coach that you truly believe and trust in. Nasal strips. This is a huge question on everyone's mind. I get in the comments 24/7, why do you wear this, or why is it on, or what nose strips do you get? So first things first, we're gonna be creating our own, and soon we'll be having Martian strips that y'all can try. But until then, I get the Breathe Right ones that are extra strength. I alcohol swab my nose. I put one on before bed, and I usually wear it into this training session here into the morning. And then oftentimes I sweat this one off. So right before training with Brett, I usually do another alcohol wipe and put another nose strip on for training as well. Both helping me sleep, keeping me from snoring, and then in training, being able to breathe through my nose nicely so that I can be able to get my heart rate down and then therefore be able to push the next set further. This is called the Free Motion Abdominal. This is probably my favorite ab machine. You can run it a couple different ways. We're gonna do 2 sets one way, and we're gonna do 2 sets another way, and I'll kind of explain both ways. But this thing is awesome. If you don't have this machine, you can just use a cable machine and do the same thing, but this one is just set up perfectly for abs, and it feels really, really smooth and comfortable. So this is my favorite one. Like I said, we're gonna run a couple sets here. We just did 4 sets on the Prime abdominal crunch. Now we'll do 4 sets here. Like I said, 2 one way, 2 another way, and then we'll go do leg lifts. So the first way we're gonna do things is we're gonna set our hips perfectly on the pad, like butt on the pad, and we're really gonna think about more bending, not a crunch, but rather keeping it straight at the waist. So we're more using the core here and using that transverse abdominis. So I'm gonna do 2 sets like this, and then I'll show you how to do the other 2 sets. All right, so rest is a huge thing on a lot of you guys' minds, whether it's the rest between sets or the rest between body parts on training days. This is all gonna be very person dependent, but what I would say is how we work things is we try to make sure that our heart rate is down in between sets. So that usually takes about 1 minute to 2 minutes, somewhere in there, with Brett and I, the way that we train. But we also have very healthy cardiovascular system in which the heart rate comes down fastly. And we know how to use techniques like breathing through our nose and those type of things to help get it down. And sometimes when the heart rate's not down and it's your turn, it's your turn. But we try to run things about put weight on, and in between the set, he goes, I go. That's enough rest that it comes out to be about 1 minute to 2 minutes in between sets, right? As far as body parts goes, I don't mind if when you hit the body part again, it's slightly sore, like just a little bit. But at some point, you're starting to get into the risk versus reward in injury there. So you really have to pay attention to that, especially if you're enhanced or natural, right? So this is one of those things that I have preached about before, where we talk about the recovery is much better when you're enhanced, and that's really the difference between the two. So a natural guy, it might take 5 days to heal up for that body part to be ready to train again, whereas you're natural, it maybe, or if you're enhanced, it maybe only takes 3 days. It really, like I said, again, it's person dependent, and as long as you're not training at risk of injury, it's okay to train a little bit sore. That just is gonna help get that lactic acid out of there, but it might continue to make you even more sore. So just take that into consideration and really focus in on that recovery aspect. We're gonna do this 2 different ways. So we did it the first way, where we're bending more at the waist. It's kind of mimicking a reverse leg lift, if you will. So we're really focusing in on that lower abdominal muscle. Now we're gonna do more of a crunch, hit these upper abs. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this pad a little bit higher so I can get more of an arch in my back. And then we're really gonna focus in on squeezing these upper abs. I put this bar in here, so instead of holding onto the straps, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna reach back behind my head and grab onto the bar. That's gonna give me a little bit more stretch here in the abs, which is gonna be able to get me a deeper contraction as I come down. All right, rapid fire round number 1. Do I believe in mini cuts? Hey, if it's necessary, it's necessary, but I don't think you should be putting on enough body fat that it matters. 2 is optimizing a lagging body part. I would say increase frequency or increase volume. Next, do I log my training? No, I don't. I don't want to scribble in a coloring book during my workout session. Brett and I have pretty good brains and we remember what we're doing. But if it's necessary for you, I don't think it's a bad thing. On to leg lifts, guys. We'll be doing 4 sets here. I honestly think this is probably the best abdominal exercise you can do. Probably hanging is the best from a pull-up bar, but right now everything is kind of not set up well for me to do that. And this machine is perfect for doing leg raises, so we're just gonna do it like this without the hanging. Again, like I was talking about with the arms overhead, getting that bigger stretch. So hanging from a pull-up bar is gonna get you a little bit more stretch and get you a little bit more contraction as well. Hanging's the best, but leg raises in general are the best ab exercise. We're gonna do 4 sets here and still keep answering questions in between. A lot of people, when they're thinking about leg raises, they're thinking about the name and they're just trying to lift at their hip. If you do that, you're only gonna work your hip flexor, which is fine. If you want stronger hip flexors, that's great. If you want better abs, really gonna focus in on that lower abdominal, right about the belly button or below the belly button, and really focus on trying to bring that away from the pad and crunch those abs as you do. It's much harder for sure, but it will create the best results. How do you get more out of your tricep workout? But let's just go over it all in general. There's a couple ways to get more out of your workout. 1, increasing that mind to muscle connect. You might have to drop the ego, back off the weight a little bit, and make sure that that muscle's really contracting and working. 2, the next thing you're gonna wanna go into is intensity. Are you training this thing like someone's got a gun to your head, and if you can't get one more, then you better get one more because they're gonna shoot you if you don't. That kind of intensity, if you bring that to any body part, it's definitely gonna make it grow. You've seen that in my training sessions with Brett, time after time after time again. We're killing each other, we're pushing each other to the absolute max. We're making sure someone gets an extra 1 or 2 reps and really pushing. So intensity is probably the most important factor. And then number 3 is that volume load, whether it's more sets, whether it's more reps, but getting more out of that body part. You might just have to increase the frequency that you do it, the amount of sets that you're doing, or the amount of reps that you're doing to get that feel and get the most out of it. We finished up abs here. Now we're gonna do We're gonna stretch my abdominal out. We're gonna work on my vacuum a little bit, and then we'll hit some poses to finish off and just kind of show you guys. I got a medicine ball here. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna lay on top of this in my stomach here, and I'm gonna pull a vacuum and I'm gonna let it stretch as much as it can. I'm gonna try to relax as much as I can, take a few big deep breaths, let it sink into my stomach again and pull a vacuum. I'm gonna do that 4 or 5 times here. Really stretch out the spots that hurt, that feel really tight. I'll kind of work my way around this ball kind of throughout my abs to make sure that I get all the adhesions and stuff. When you train as hard as Brett and I do, you use your abs for everything, to brace in back, to brace in your chest movements, especially in our leg movements. So my abs are always working, and they're something that you don't get a lot of tissue work on. You know, you get your back worked on, you get your legs worked on, you get deep tissue on, all that stuff. But abs is something that doesn't get as much attention. So we're gonna do some attention here and open these things up, bring in some detail, as well as it's gonna make my vacuum deeper. Shit hurts so bad, but as you feel it release, you start to feel your abs open up, kind of feel low back get on tight. This is awesome, honestly, guys. As much as it hurts, you feel incredible afterwards. So my abs feel nice and loose now, and we'll hit some poses, and we'll probably see a little bit more definition than we did even in check-ins this morning.
Hey, get the fuck up out my face. Money tucked inside the safe. If you ask me what I want, what you brought me in the case. Dodging ops, getting guap. Get the fuck up out my way. I'm forever on the race till they catch me in the chase. Get the fuck up out my face. Money tucked inside the safe. If you ask me what I want, what you brought me in the case. Dodging ops, getting guap. Get the fuck up out my way. I'm forever.
There you have it. As you can see, a few poses that really got a big difference there. My front double, I could pull that vacuum a lot deeper. And then I know definitely in those quarter turns and those side turns, I could contract my abs better. So happy with that. Keep doing that every morning here for the next few days. Really get these things loosened up. We got some new Uprising products. So they have now these new Kratom droppers, and they're flavored. We'll have to test these out in a little bit when we need some focus for computer work. So it's time for meal one. I got 150 grams of ground chicken cooked here. I'll be doing 8 rice cakes, actually 7 rice cakes. And then I will be doing 100 grams of strawberries. And last but not least, and the best part of the meal, we'll be doing some almond butter on the rice cakes. 10 grams of this. So I'll make it up, we'll put it all together, and then maybe answer a couple questions while I eat it up. Instead of chicken breasts, we got ground chicken here. I put it in the food processor, I do it myself. Honestly, this just digests a little better, and I feel like you can manipulate the flavor a little bit more than just the chicken breast itself. And I like the texture of this a little better. So I like the ground turkey. Like I said, I trim the breast, I chop the breast up, I put it in my Ninja food processor, and I hammer it for like a minute straight. Then it comes out to be this. So very happy with this. It's very good, very clean. And oftentimes some of the ground chicken or ground turkey that they have at the grocery stores either has too much fat, or they've had some additives in there to make sure that the protein itself is gonna stick to each other. And when that does, it kind of can mess up your digestion. So I like to do this at home instead. Get out of my kitchen, Missy. You're not supposed to be in the kitchen. I like extra sweet fruit here. This is one of my favorite parts of the meal here. So I take a Splenda and pack it in half, toss it over the top of the strawberries here, and it just gives it that extra sweetness. I'm personally a big fan of Splenda, but I only use it here and with my coffee. Otherwise, I don't really use much artificial sweetener or anything like that to make sure that my digestion is perfect as well. Now we got Blue Hog. This is the original. I have the Champions blend in there, but this one's good as well. So we'll throw a little barbecue sauce on our chicken. Then we got our rice cakes here. Like I said, I'm gonna be doing 7, which is a full sleeve here. So we'll just open this new sleeve, eat that up. And then I got 10 grams of nut butter that I'm gonna be putting on. I'll probably do about 5 grams on 2 of the rice cakes, eat the other ones plain, and then eat those ones last. This almond butter is a little thick, so we gotta make sure we spread it out a little thin. And then these 2 rice cakes we save for last. So we'll eat the protein first. If you guys have watched me before, you know that unless it's chicken and rice or fish and rice or something like that, the carbs get eaten last and the protein source gets eaten first. We're getting a lot of questions about prep and timelines and how things go there. So biggest thing here, a lot of people are worried, like, am I too far ahead? That's a good problem to have. Honestly, you should be ready probably around 4 weeks out. So I wouldn't honestly stress too much. People that are really too worried about being too lean too early and not having the right look just don't know how to refeed their body and work on their recovery. So once you're shredded, then the job is totally different in that you have to start pulling back on energy expenditure and monitor those calories and keep you in that spot that you want to be in. It's not really a set timeline. I think everyone is different. Some people get lean really fast. Some people it takes a long, slow, steady process. It really is person dependent, but I'd say that you can never really be too far ahead as far as you just need to maybe do some more refeeds, have some bigger training days, work on those lagging body parts. If you're ahead, that means that it gives you a little bit more freedom to play with your food and be able to volumize maybe the body parts that are lagging. All right, so another reoccurring question you guys have been asking is kind of a little bit on working on myself, how I overcame kind of the negative past 2 years that kind of went on, kind of the backlash or whatever that you will that I had, as well as just like my mental health wasn't in a good place. And this kind of goes back to the things that I've been preaching this whole time about why this prep has been so successful for me is the people I'm surrounded by. I have the absolute best circle between Brett being my training partner, Alexis being the best partner I could ever have at home, and my home life being wonderful, as well as Jake behind the camera. Just I have really, really great people that believe in me, as well as Boss, who, as I talked about in the beginning of this video, has just instilled the confidence in me that I know it's only a matter of time and my physique is coming into what it needs to be. But as far as mental health goes, guys, I took some big steps in that, kind of changed myself. I think it's something that you have to do as a man, is you have to look in the mirror and say, do I like the man that I'm becoming? Do I like the direction I'm going? And if I don't, how do I change that? You know, sometimes it's hard to make a change, but the first step is realizing that you need to make that change. So when I decided that I needed to make a change, I wanted to change how I was acting, how I was representing myself, as well as how I was representing my love for bodybuilding. When I started looking at that, I just didn't like my behavior. It wasn't somebody that I would have looked up to as a young person. It wasn't somebody that I was wanting to follow those footsteps. So I took a step back and I said, who do I want to be? Who do I want to represent? Who do I want the kids to know me for? And that's my passion for bodybuilding, you know? So I took those steps back. I did some counseling, which was very, very helpful. I think a lot of us, the mental health pandemic that we've had in these past few years, especially with 2020, was something that I really let kind of fade off, and just having somebody to talk to, whether it's your best friend or whether you go to a therapist, I think is very, very important for you as a person, just to be able to hash those things out, as well as get some of those thoughts out of your mind. So that was a big step for me. And then I would say that number two was really, really the people that surround me, you know, being positive, encouraging me, pushing me to be better and grow as a person as well. You know, Brett's a perfect example of that. He's a day in, day out, good guy, top to bottom. There's nobody that meets Brett that shakes his hand that you can't tell that he's a jam up dude and that he is all nothing but business. So it's a good for me to be around him, and we both keep each other in the straight and narrow and really just push each other to be the best we can be without any outside distractions. And then I would say lastly is I kind of quit feeding into the negativity. You know, if I don't want to do an interview, I don't do an interview. If I don't want to talk about the show, I don't talk about the show. I put out the content that we want to put out now, and I think that that's been also something that's been very beneficial to me, is just not putting pressure on myself, whether it's for a win, whether it's for getting you guys content, anything like that. Now we're just doing what we love. We're just having fun. And I think that that can be said to go further than just about anything. It's just making sure you're having fun with the process. All right, there y'all have it. My morning routine. We went through my morning coffee. We went through my morning of abs and stretching. Then we did our meal number 1. So you guys have my morning now. You can follow along, do the same things as I've been doing in the morning. You guys also got to see how I checked in here, what I look like about form check about 10 weeks out here. And hope you guys really just enjoyed the video. Let us know down below what else kind of stuff you want to see. So we could do some morning routine, other type of stuff like this. Like, subscribe, do all the fun YouTube stuff. We appreciate you guys tuning in, and we'll see you next time. Peace.